Hi everyone, in today's video I'm going to show you how to connect an NAN workflow to MeDo and use it as a plugin. I will walk you through the entire process step by step, starting from the NAN set all the way to successfully creating the plugin in MeDo, and then using it directly when building an app. Before we get started, just a quick note, you can use a workflow template or you can build your own workflow from scratch. Either way is totally fine. There are just a couple of requirements you need to make sure are met. First, your workflow must expose to a public API, otherwise MeDo won't be able to call it. Second, make sure you can execute the workflow successfully and that it runs end-to-end without issues. Alright, I have already prepared a simple example workflow from generating a QR code. The structure is very straightforward, with just 3 nodes. 1. Receive data webhook. 2. Generate QR code. 3. Response with QR code. Now, let's go step by step and see how to connect this workflow to MeDo. First, let's open the Receive Data webhook node. Once it's open, you will see a Parameters panel at the top. Inside that panel, look for Webhook URL section. Here, you will see 2 options, Test URL and Production URL. Make sure you select Production. If you want this plugin to actually work inside MeDo, this is one you need to use. After selecting it, you will see a full URL generated below. This URL already includes everything MeDo needs to know, including the HTTP method, which is post, and the path, which is generated QR. Go ahead and copy this entire production URL. We will paste this exact URL into MeDo in a moment as the request URL. Next is the authentication method. In this workflow, I didn't set up any authentication on the webhook, so here I can simply select None. If you have configured any API key or any kind of header-based authentication in NAN, then you would choose the corresponding option here instead. Next, let's take a look at the second node, Generate QR code. At its core, this node does just one thing. It calls an external API to generate a QR code. You can see that it sends a request to a URL that looks like this. Out of all the parameters here, there's really only one that matters, data. Whatever content the webhook receives gets passed directly into those data parameters, and that's what the QR code is generated from. This part is important because we will use the same parameters later when we define the plugin parameters in MeDo. Then, let's open the third node, Response with QR code. On the right-hand side, you will see the response with is set to all incoming items. Now switch over to binary view. Here, you can directly see the generated QR code image. This part is very important to understand. This endpoint does not return JSON. It returns a PNG image file. So, when you use this plugin inside MeDo, what you are getting back is an image, not a piece of text. Alright, at this point, there's nothing else we need to change on the NAN set. Now let's switch over to MeDo and start creating the plugin. In MeDo, click Create Plugin, and then we will go through each field one by one. Plugin name is QR Code Generator. This name is mainly for your own reference. You can change it to whatever you like. It won't affect how the plugin works. Plugin description: generate a QR code image. The workflow receives input via post, generates a QR code image, and returns it as a binary response. This description is just a one-line summary explaining what the plugin does. Request URL here. Simply paste the production URL you copied earlier from the NAN webhook. This field is very important. As long as this URL is correct, you usually won't run into any major issues later on. Authentication method is none because we didn't set up any authentication in the NAN webhook. Request description is send data to NAN webhook via post request. This description is for people who will be using the plugin. And then request parameters. Here we define single parameters, data string required, the content to encode into the QR code. This data parameter maps directly to the data field used in the generator QR code node in your workflow. Request example. Based on that, we can write the request example like this. Response parameters is fill battery PNG image file containing the generated QR code. Response example is like this. Error codes, here you can keep it simple and list the most common cases, like that. Next, we talk out the plugin information we just filled out and paste it into MeDo. Then click on the parsing option. If your workflow includes any large language models like ChatGPT or similar, this is where you will enter the corresponding API key. In my case, this workflow is very simple. It only generates a QR code and doesn't use any language models, so I don't need to fill this in here. Once that's done, when you start building an app in MeDo, you can call this workflow directly, just like any other plugin. Let me give you a more concrete example. Suppose I want to build an app that automatically generates a business card. The user enters their name, email, and company information, and the app generates a QR code on the card. When someone scans that QR code with their phone, the contact can be saved directly. I can simply tell MeDo something like this. This is my prompt. And I can use the QR code generator workflow in here. Now, let's take a look at the app that MeDo generates for me. On the page, you can see input field for things like name, email, company, and so on. I will just fill in some sample information and click Generate. Now, let's scan this QR code. You can see that it already contains the full contact information and can be saved directly as a contact. And behind the scenes, this entire flow is powered by the same NAN workflow we set up earlier. So what you will start to notice is this. As long as a workflow can be triggered, you can turn it into a plugin into MeDo using this approach. Whether you are generating content, processing data, or running a complex automation pipeline, you can plug it straight into MeDo and make it part of an app. Go ahead and give it a try, and feel free to share the apps you build using your own workflows. Bye bye!